Welcome to Ritual Scale Modelling. This is part 2 of Bandi Star Wars Boba Fett. Scale is 1 to 12. In this part I'm going to be starting the main build and I'm going to be solely concentrating on just building the helm. So there's quite a work involved in that, a lot of painting just on the helm alone. Hence why I'm just putting it into the one video. So a little bit shorter video, but there's a bit of work involved into this. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So to begin with, I'm painting the helmet, and this is the face guard of the helmet. And I'm using Humbrol's RC403 Crimson Lake for this colour. Now it's practically the same colour as the plastic, but it takes that plastically look away from it. For the helmet visor, I decided to paint it in a black, so I'm using Humbrol 85 Coal Black for this. Now, I did debate whether I should just do a smoky colour or a black gloss, but the Coal Black gives it a softer gloss black colour to it. The next colour I'm using is Humbrol's RC409 Malachite Green. This is going to be the main colour. Now you may have noticed I'm painting directly on the plastic without any undercoat. Now this is on purpose and there is a reason behind that. So let me explain that while I'm just painting the details into this helmet here. Sorry, I'm just moving the camera around for a better view. Now, the character Boba Fett's armour is very much scorched and beat up. So I want to try and recreate that. Now, there's two ways you can go about it. You can paint the model in a pristine condition and then mark it up as you wish. You can do undercoats, then take off, then put a top coat on, and then bring the chipping through that way. That's an old technique I don't often use because there's a lot of work involved. Or you can do it this way. Because the plastic isn't primed, the paint will take one or two coats to settle in and level out. Now I'm only going to be given this one coat and I want the streak marks, the plastic coming through. So it looks like not a poor paint job, but an untidy paint job. This enables the armour then to start looking a bit beat up, and when I start adding the different colours and tones to the armour, it'll start coming to life. So we're not putting the undercoat on to get in a good level flat colour like you would normally do. You're purposely leaving it so it's going to look untidy, a little bit beat up as it goes along. So here I'm using Humbrol 87 Steel Grey, and this is for the aerial that goes on the side of the helmet, but using the same technique of painting on the bare plastic. And for the opposite side of that part, I'm going to be using Humbrol's RC410 Moncel Green. Now don't worry if you don't use Humbrol paints, and at the end I've got a paint conversion alternative list, so you make it that what you will, you know, there's other variations there. Now I'm using Humbrol 11 Silver, and this is for the withering. Now I've got an old brush here and I've cut down the bristles on the brush, stiffened them up. I think this one I used a bit of glue, but you can use varnish as well. Put the bare minimum amount of paint on the brush and taking away the excess on a piece of towel, and then I'm just jabbing the paint on over the surface, removing any excess just with my finger to blend it in if need be. There's no fast rule pattern here, just do it the way you feel like it needs to be done, and this will give the chipped and metal look that's going to come through if you do the silver then the green and chip away that way. This is just an alternative way to do it. It's a quicker way to do it as well. It's also easier to do this while the part's still connected to the sprue, but it's not exactly necessary. You know, you can build the whole model then start weathering it. It's the builder's choice, really. I mean, these are just my techniques. You don't really have to follow them if you don't want to, but this is what works for me. I'm using Tammy's extra thin cement here, like I did on the Han Solo figure, to build the kit, and this is the construction of the helmet. So first of all, the visor goes in place. That just gets pushed onto the inner core there, and then the opposite end for the back of the helmet. As you can see there, I'm using a little bit of strength just to push everything in. Next to go in, there's another part of the visor. This is the main cross piece of the visor for the central part. So you've got the edges on one unit, and then the central piece then goes in. And then the top of the helmet, you can see there the location points for them. There's quite a few in there. It makes it for a really good connection. So it's a bare minimum amount of cement that you need, if any. Remember, like what I said with the Han Solo kit, you really don't need cement to build this. Maybe on one or two tiny areas, if push comes to shove. But really, if you're not too worried about cement, and you really don't have to, it is a sort of snap together kit. So that's the bulk of the helmet done, you can see there. And next is to put the side parts on. Now I have no idea what these parts are for, but the smaller piece goes in first. There is a little channel for this to sit into. I did have to clean it up a little bit, as you can see there. It was just a little bit of excess plastic on it. It didn't make it quite fit. That was the first time I really had to clean apart on these two figures that I'm doing, so that's quite impressive really for a kit. The other side is two parts. This is for the main aerial. There's a bottom piece and a top piece. You have to fit the bottom piece first, and then of course the top piece. I'm putting the final touches to the helm. This is where I'll end the video, so a little shorter video than normal this time. I just thought this would be a good place to stop. I've just got to touch up the paintwork on the helm, but it's all the processes that I mentioned before, just tidying up really, if you can call it tidying up, with an armour product that you want to be chipped and marked, of course. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you go and check out the channel for my other builds? If you subscribe to the channel, and please do so, make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date, not only with this build, but all my other builds as well, of course. Hit the like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.